Why, hello, everyone. What's going on? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Pat? What's happening? It's 9:01. I'm late. I know my coffee was brewing. My coffee was brewing. Brodes, they got to go 5-2 to clinch the 1 seed. We'll get into all that. That's for sure. Hey, welcome. Let's take the dude. I filled this thing to the brim today, and you probably can't see it at all, but I need to be extra careful because this shit is at the top. What did Trevor Bauer tweet last night? I saw he said like bad night, but this is what makes me happy, or this is what puts it in perspective. And it was like a little girl who was excited or something. But anyway, cheers, everybody. The weather in Jersey is depressing me, and it's been so bad. I actually like this weather. Weirdly, it sucks because it makes baseball games questionable. But in terms of like this weather, where it's like kind of cloudy and kind of like, I mean, yesterday it ended up being all right. But Trevor Bauer, all right, we're looking up Trevor Bauer on Twitter here to see what's up, to see what we missed from last night. I follow him too. I didn't see it. If any NL players are looking for someone to throw BP during the home run derby in July, hit me up. He's taking shots at himself. You know what's crazy? I'm pretty sure I looked at his. If you go to the stat line yesterday, like it wasn't even that egregious, unless I'm missing something here. The thing is, he's allowing home runs. I think last year he allowed 8 total or 9 total, and this year he either allowed 7 or 8. So, like, he's already up there in terms of how many he allowed. But if you go to the Dodgers game and their scorecard, I don't even think he had that bad of a day. Keep in mind it was a doubleheader. Oh, that's okay. That was the first game of the doubleheader. Where's that second game? So it's a 7-inning game. But he only allowed 1 earned run. He walked 4. He went 4 and a third, 90 pitches. So, I mean, I guess I was just looking at the fact that he only allowed 1 earned run, which made me feel the way that I did. But yeah, he went 4 and a third in a 7-inning game, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, which is probably eating him alive, and 7 strikeouts and 90 pitches. I mean, I'm just saying, I've seen a lot worse. That's all. I've seen a lot worse. That's for damn sure. That's funny, though. Unpopular opinion, I don't think Devontae Smith will be good. I think that's just an asinine statement, though. Why do you feel that way? Why are we at the point where we think he's not going to be good? Why do we feel that way? Because because Howie drafted him? Like, where are we? Is that why? Only because Howie drafted him? Is it because of the size? What makes you feel this way? I need to tap into your mind a little bit. I need to figure this bad boy out. If you guys want to know something that happened to me this morning, I will share it with you. I feel like an asshole. So, as you know, I have an NHL podcast called Open Ice Hits, right? And we normally record that in the morning. So last night, I'm texting Durso, yo, you good for the morning? He's like, yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about Tom Wilson. We'll talk about some of the stuff like Cole Caulfield, who's scoring some overtime goals. We're like, all right, sweet. Sounds good. My bitch ass hit snooze 3 times, didn't wake up, and he was sitting there waiting for me. So now we have to do it again, do it tomorrow. But I just feel like a terrible human being. You know what I mean? Who does that? So this is why I feel like it's a troll, by the way. You say something like this, and then I ask you why, and I get no response. I like the Dickerson pick, but the Williams pick is a bummer because the Giants took Robinson. I think you're talking about Robinson. But that now we got some clarification. It wasn't even Robinson that Tom Donahoe wanted. Tom Donahoe wanted McNeil. So he wanted another defensive lineman. So this whole conversation about, well, what if what if you went with the selection that Tom Donahoe wanted? Tom Donahoe wanted a defensive lineman. So I think, see, this is why I have the problem, Philly for life. We know nothing about these third-round picks, right? I think you have more knowledge about the first and second rounders and the type of impact they can possibly make. But if we're talking about a third rounder, a fourth rounder. Like at this point, it's like, well, I wanted Robinson instead of Williams. Do we really know how either of these guys are going to shape up? Like, people despise the move because of a fist bump. And that means Milton Williams is automatically written off, and there's no way he's going to succeed. That's where I don't have that's where I have the problem. I think he's already written off because of a fist bump, which is totally unfair. So we'll see how McNeil plays, because McNeil was the one that they wanted, or Tom Donahoe wanted specifically. But seriously, it's crazy the fact that you're going to, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit yesterday. I wonder if I could bring it back up. But Mike Kay, who covers the Eagles for for NJ.com, kind of wrote about how, think about this. You got that upset for another defensive lineman in the third round. And it's pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you, on the reaction by Tom Donahoe. And he came out and made a statement. Howie came out. I'll be honest, Howie Roseman and the gang seem to be a little bit more open to things. I wonder if they're changing their philosophy. They tried to be sneaky. They tried to be kind of squirming around things and maneuvering around all kinds of stories and lying. And since the draft, I mean, I'll be honest, it's kind of been a little refreshing just to hear Howie say, yeah, this is what happened. This is what went down. He wanted this guy. I wanted this guy. We traded down this and that. And we're very excited about Milton Williams. But before, they would never do that. Never, 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 never. It would always constantly be a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of lies, a bunch of garbage. Since the draft, maybe it's something new. Maybe they're realizing it's something new. And an often injured center instead of Samuel Jr. I don't even think I think I'm out, not out, but I think the reaction to Asante Samuel Jr. is everything about the name and more so than the productivity. Why did we not like Avonte Maddox? He's 5'9". We all screamed about it. Everyone screamed about how he's 5'9" and he can't play on the outside. Yet magically, all of a sudden, everyone's satisfied and totally okay with the 5'10" corner opposite of Darius Slay. It's because of the name Asante Samuel. It's because they didn't draft him. Look, I wouldn't have been mad if they did select Asante Samuel Jr., but I just find it hilarious that all of a sudden this 5'10" corner is just so amazing and he's going to be able to shut down everyone, and the Eagles missed out on him. But Avonte Maddox, who's 1 inch shorter, look, I'm not talking about the difference of 6'1" and 6 foot. We're talking about 5'9" and 5'10". Both are still definitely undersized. So why will it work for one and not work for the other? And we're okay with one, but we're not okay with the other. I think 5'9" actually scares me a little bit. How are you making that assumption, though? Why are you making that assumption? I mean, we're talking about the NFL now. We're not talking about college football anymore. Avonte Maddox, first off, Avonte Maddox is a slot guy. We know that. So he was forced to play a position that he wasn't playing. We know that. But you're just saying Asante Samuel can play. What do you bet? How do you know that? Right? Like, what are we basing this off of? Because Avonte Maddox played at Pitt, and at the draft, everyone said, wow, Avonte Maddox, that's a steal in the draft in the 4th round. Go back to what the conversation was after Avonte Maddox was drafted. You might have a nice player in Avonte Maddox, and now we're ready to write him off because he played out of position and he got destroyed by it, and we're so satisfied that at 5'10". My point is pretty simple here, though. All of a sudden, somehow, 5'10" corner is the most shut down corner in the world that we passed up on. But 5'9" he's a disaster and he can't play, and you should never put him outside again. Somehow, I'm just missing something. That's all. Max with the $2 donation. Thoughts on Kutch maybe returning to form? I've been saying it for the last 4 games or so. I've been saying it for the last 4 games when I watched him foul tip a ball back. There's something in Kutch. There's something in that swing. There's something different here. You can see it. The cut is there. There's something in the swing where he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable at the plate. And then within 3 games later or so, he's hitting 3 home runs. So, yeah, I think he is getting back to who he is. I think he absolutely 100% is getting back to form. My problem is I don't know what the hell is happening in the field. I don't know what's going on in left field where my man just can't catch a baseball anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can agree with this, Carmen. I can agree with this, Carmen. Carmen said, and thank you so much, Max. Thank you. Carmen says, I don't hate the Dickerson pick, but we could have made a safer selection in rounds 3 or 4 if we're looking for a center. You significantly lose talent, though, when you do that. I'm saying you can, I'm not even talking about in terms of the center, make a safer pick for center. I'm talking more about safer pick in the second round. So you're right. You probably could find a, quote, safer pick at center based off the injury history, but you lose the power and talent, which is why they went in that direction to begin with and why he was so up on the draft board. They stick to their draft board this year. That's for damn sure, and that's something we were hoping they would do. They had to stick to the draft board instead of going rogue. The problem is, do you believe in their draft board and who they have on their spots or in their spots? I guess you could have made a safer pick with a JOK or something of that nature. I would have been okay with Asante Samuel Jr. Let's be clear. I just think it's funny how I'm aware of the 5'10". I'm aware of maybe being afraid of the height. I'm afraid of being, picking Asante Samuel Jr. and maybe it not working out opposite of Darius Slay, where others automatically write that in as he's a shutdown guy against everyone, and he's going to be unbelievably elite, and you passed up on that. That's where I'm kind of having the disconnect with the Asante Samuel thing. Rhys Hoskins is playing better than I expected. He is. He made a horrendous, dumb baseball mistake yesterday, though. That's pissing me the fuck off because this team just plays stupid-ass baseball, and it could have came back to bite them. It didn't. It could have. It was a one-run game. Could have been a two-run game late. Could have changed the whole dynamic. But Rhys Hoskins made a boneheaded decision in the third inning when he wrote one down the left field line to take two when the play's right in front of him. And then, come on. JOK has the heart problem. Okay, that is a new thing for the draft board. I mean, is this? I want to see if I could see anything that pops up on it, but nothing does on. Shame. That's horrible. He is, he's having heart issues. Heart issues revealed as the reason for JOK's slide. Could be another DK Metcalf thing, And I'm not saying that. Look, it's clear that Dickerson is that's that position on the offensive line. You could argue with the Eagles, any position on the offensive line is valued way more than what the Eagles put in the linebackers. So at the end of the day, they picked something that they put more stock into, which you can't argue that. But damn, that is pretty crazy. And maybe he pulls a DK Metcalf where, there was neck injuries, although the neck injury thing is way different than a heart issue. But I'm rooting for him for damn sure. Definitely rooting for him. Nothing was fun here than when you said, is McCutchen back or is he going to miss a fly out later? I know. I never know. He's confusing me. It's very conflicting emotions. There's times where he looks electric at the dish and I'm all super pumped up. And then there's times where I see one of the most egregious things in the universe and I hate watching. I hate watching. This team is a nightmare. It's like crazy. This team can never lose. Like, can this team just lose a game 6-1? Think about what I'm saying. This squad is so outrageous that all I'm asking for is a 6-1 regular loss that makes sense. They can't do anything that makes sense. It's one of the craziest things in the world. It's one of the craziest things in the world. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. He didn't, Evan. He didn't. I knew it at the time. Everyone wants to make it seem it's a Joe Girardi thing. It's not a Joe Girardi thing. It's not a I pulled up my video by mistake. It's not a Joe Girardi thing. This is 2021. This is a product of putting in the lineup cards through computers and whatnot. When you saw, you literally had the opposing. This is what I heard. All right. The opposing manager and the Brewers had De Los Santos on their card. Everyone that was upstairs at the in the press box, people who cover the team, the beat reporters, their paper had De Los Santos on the lineup card. The only people that didn't was the umpires. Unfortunately, that's the most important. I bring this up because obviously there was a disconnect here on how it was sent in, but it's not the old days where here's Joe Girardi walking up with the lineup card and he just forgot to put someone's name on there. It was a late transaction in the day. So with the late transaction, they had to submit it to the league, and then the league probably had some faultiness involved. And this has happened to the Brewers as well. This has happened to other teams around baseball. This isn't a Joe Girardi problem. I think he's the hot item right now that everybody wants to scream about, but it's really just a product of how the lineup cards are given in today's game. Oh, Reese Hoskins is definitely playing better. That's for damn sure. I mean, he is your prototypical guy that you're looking for. If you look at his stats and what he's slashing this year, I mean, it pretty much just screams 2021 baseball. Reese Hoskins is the definition of 2021 baseball. He's hitting 241, 290 OBP with an 808 OPS with 8 homers, 16 RBIs, 8 walks. He does have 39 strikeouts, but that's pretty much 2021 baseball in a nutshell, like that's the numbers. Just last 241, but he's giving you 8 homers, he's giving you 39 strikeouts, 808 OPS. His on base, I would like to see it a tick higher, but I think that's the product of the lack of walks. I mean, I look at the walks and I want it to be higher than that, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Why are we saying, come on, Girardi? He did it. He did not forget the lineup card. This is a product of 2021 baseball where this is like the other team had the lineup card. All the beat reporters had the lineup card. Everyone had the lineup card. When they submitted it through MLB, I guess MLB didn't get it. Everybody else got it. So you're telling me everybody else involved got the right one with De Los Santos, and one product didn't, which was the MLB itself. I mean, it's just not making a lot of sense, right? Yeah, the Hoskins stunk last year. That's for damn sure. I was thinking the same thing, by the way. Should we do our weather report? Should we bring in the one and only Glenn? Let's do it. Let's do what we need to do here, everyone. Bang. Let's check it out. Let's hear what he has to say. So tonight, let's look at the forecast, the hourly forecast. We have ourselves at 7 o'clock p.m. I don't know why I'm announcing it as if I'm, at a Sixers game. 7 o'clock, partly. Oh, no, we're getting this game in, fellas. It changed. It changed big time. Yesterday was all isolated thunderstorms from 7 p.m. and on. No. We got partly cloudy, mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, partly cloudy, partly cloudy from 7 p.m. through 11 p.m. So we are good. We are good. We will play today. I know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The last few days we have been saying there's no way they get the game in, and they have been getting the game in. So let us pray. Will Maton stay on the 40-man roster? Honestly, he's a decent player, can hit and can play some solid defense. Still say Bohm is the rising star on this season. Well, definitely. Yeah. I mean, Bohm and Maton are not even in the same category at all. Yeah. I mean, I like what Maton has done, but he's long term. The projection here is nowhere on the level of Alec Bohm. Does he deserve to stay? I think he does. Now, I heard Mikey Miss rip apart the idea of throwing him into center field because pitchers are going to make the adjustments to what Maton is doing at the plate. And now you're going to have a young kid have to move around to center field when he hasn't really played center field ever. I'm a little different, though. I think he deserves to go out there. Like, to send him down to AAA or to send him down in another area, like, let the kid play. Let the kid work. Like, if there's certain guys that seem like they can only do one position, fine. This kid seems that he can play multiple. He seems to be super utility. He seems to be Scott Kingery. Scott Kingery had a fine job adjusting out to center field. I'm willing to find out. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to learn more about Nick Maton. Is he going to keep this level of production up at the MLB level forever? Absolutely not. My guy's raking every single night. I mean, that's just not going to stay forever. So there's going to be a natural dip eventually. He has one hit against the Brewers last night, did not have any on May 3rd, had one against the Mets, had two against the Mets on May 1st, had two against the Cardinals on April 29th. He did go through a couple games there where he struck out 5 times in 3 games without any hits, but then he had 2 hits against the Rockies on April 25th. He's hitting right now on the season .327. I mean, it's just not realistic to who he is. He's going to dip off a bit, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm willing to find out more about Nick Maton. Willing to find out more. Will Mike Trout be the best player ever? Probably. Probably. You know, it is crazy, though, and I think we touched on this before. As much as we talk about how underrated and how nobody talks about him, everyone talks about him as he's the best. You know, like, you're right. He doesn't pop like a Fernando Tatis Jr. He doesn't pop like a Mookie Betts, a Bryce Harper, a Ronald Acuna Jr., or anybody like that at all. But when you talk about the best baseball player ever, Mike Trout's name is the one that always gets thrown out. So, or like thrown out there in the conversation, or not even, he gets thrown out as the guy. He is the name that is coming out of everybody's mouths at that point. So it is crazy. He doesn't pop. He's not flashy. He's not on a team that's marketed very well, but everyone mentions him when you talk about the best player ever. So is he underappreciated, or is he appreciated the right way? He just doesn't have a personality, or a personality that screams at people. Doing your math test while watching Coffee with Brodes. Don't ask me any damn questions. Dude, do not ask me any damn questions. That's for damn sure. Unless you ask me Roman Quinn's batting average. And I can tell you that. It sucks. Poor Roman Quinn, though, huh? Here he is again. He's going to the IL. Now, you're up there bunting, and you get yourself in a spot where you get hit flush right in the fingers. Dude, you got to get your hands out of the way, man. I mean, this guy's constantly getting banged up, and it sucks because, look, he had 3 hits in 3 days. He had 2 triples, not doubles, triples, 2 triples in a row, and then adds a little bloop in there. And also, that was after the injury to the finger. And on top of that, he went from first to third on a weird throw from like his threat of, and maybe it's just not him, because you also saw where I think it was Maton, where they tried to throw over to Vogelback and it went past him, and it went to the dugout, and you got to take a base. But yeah, his threat and his speed got him from first to third, and now here he is again, not being able to play. You're right, Zach. That's exactly why we feel the way that we do about him, because he plays on the Angels. You're absolutely right. He's always hurt when he's starting to play well. Yep, and now you're going to get Odubel Herrera, who's getting his foot stuck in the wall when he's jumping up to try and rob that Jackie Bradley Jr. home run. I'm not going to lie to you. When the home run went off on it was Jojo Romero who threw the pitch, right? Jojo Romero was up. He allowed the home run to Jackie Bradley Jr. when the score was 6-3. It was a 2-run homer. I honestly thought that it was a tying home run. I thought that tied at 6-6, and thought, you got to be kidding me. You got to be licking my ass. But it was only a 2-run shot, and that let me breathe a little bit. How about Sam Coonrod, though, huh? Just amazing for him to bounce back the way that he did, and just have such a strong, not bounce back, but he just had such a strong outing for sure. Like a really, really strong 5-out save that was huge for him. 1,000%. 1,000%. Back-to-back 5-out saves for this Phillies team. Just absolutely ridiculous. Do I think that McDavid scores 100? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think he can get that blindfolded at this point, quite honestly. So, yeah, I do. I do think that it's a lock that he gets 100 points. I would be stunned. I'd put $1 million down that he gets 100 points if I had $1 million to spend. 1,000%. My friend who's a Mets fan says after the game Sunday, you guys would be lucky to win 1 game against Milwaukee. Well, yeah, I mean, that's baseball, right? That's the story of baseball. So today, just to let everyone know what we have on the table, you have your 7 o'clock Brewers-Phillies matchup, which I think we're going to squeeze in. your 8 o'clock Sixers Rockets game, which is probably going to be boring as shit. Have the Brewers at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So you have a little afternoon tilt on Thursday, but we can't overlook today first, right? We got Chase Anderson on the mound, though, and that scares me. That scares me having Chase Anderson on the mound for sure. Where was I here? What NBA playoff teams are you most concerned about? Well, the Bucks and the Nets. The Bucks and the Nets. But if they play each other in that second round, which they're going to, when the Sixers solidify their number one spot, you're only going to have to worry about one of them. But it's whoever wins that matchup for sure, 100%. Like I think both of those teams. I've been saying this for a while with this. Yeah, that Bucks Nets game was crazy. I was a little overwhelmed last night because I was doing Phillies, and then I also was watching Yankees Astros. All right, I was all in on Yankees Astros yesterday. So at my 3 TV setup, I had Bucks Nets on, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, maybe I'm a jerk off, maybe I'm an asshole, which is true. The Bucks Nets game was third TV, Phillies first, Yankees Astros second. I was all in on Yankees Astros yesterday. I was loving every single second of it. But yeah, I mean, they came up big for us. The Milwaukee Bucks came up big for us, and that's why a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago or so, I didn't have to do that. Anyway, when we looked at the schedules, we knew that the Sixers had an easier ride. So they were going to be fine as long as the Milwaukee Bucks won. If the Milwaukee Bucks were to win, you figure that the Sixers would take care of business and get where they need to. This team is going to be in a dogfight, this Sixers team, with whoever is going to win that battle, whether it's the Bucks or the Nets. Like I'm scared about both, to be honest with you. I'm scared about I think we should be more scared with the Bucks than we thought we would. Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, stretching them out, stretching the Sixers out can be detrimental to this team. It could be literally the reason why they lose is the ability to space out the floor with the big men. I think that's going to be scary. I think that's going to be a difference maker. I think that's going to be serious. I really do. I really, really do. I think that's going to be insane. Yeah, I really do. Let's see here. All right, I'm getting sidetracked for a second. Hornets or Knicks should be easy though. Yeah, I'm not worried about. Sorry, I am getting distracted here. Some are worried about the Knicks. Is it fair to give the Knicks 2 games in a 7-game series? Like, hey, maybe their work ethic could win them 2 games. I mean, it is very possible, right? It is very, very possible. The Knicks are getting hot. No, the Knicks will give them a hard time. I don't think they're going to give you like that much of a hard time. I really don't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the NBA. And what happens in the NBA? The team with the better talent wins. That's how it works. Now, there's outliers for sure, but it's just how this league works where you do win majority of the time when you have a player like Joel Embiid compared to not having a player like Joel Embiid. Julius Randle is what he is, but Julius Randle is like equivalent to Tobias Harris, in my opinion, to be honest with you. Toby gives you, like, because Toby has Joel and Toby has Ben and all, like, he doesn't have the same numbers, but Tobias Harris's role is a Julius Randle role. Like, if you're going to win a championship, that is, Julius Randle can't be Joel Embiid's role. He can't be a number 2 role. Like, Julius Randle is probably more like a Tobias Harris, a tweener between a 2 and a 3, more so than anything else when it comes to a role. So I don't know how that's going to win you a 7-game series against a team that has more talent and a superstar, a legitimate superstar in Joel Embiid. So, with the Knicks, I get it. They're winning games. Playoffs are a different beast, my friends. Playoffs are a different level of intensity. that it takes time for you to grow and learn how to win at that level. And I think they're in that. They're going to win a series, and then they're going to learn what they need to be like. This is a Julius Randle learning moment almost of, all right, I'm going to go up against Embiid after winning the first round, and this is what it's going to be, and this is what I'm going to have to do in my offseason. This is what I'm going to have to do to grow because this isn't good enough. That's the way I see it. But yeah, I mean, you beat the Rockets, you beat the Bulls, you beat the Hornets, you beat the Pelicans. I mean, I'm not going to knock them for the nice little ride that they're on, but it's not even close to the same. It's just not. Yeah, I mean, they're winning games. I mean, look, they're winning a lot of games and they're putting wins together, which at the end of the day is solid for them and it builds confidence, right? I mean, it builds swagger so they feel like they can beat anybody, and that's what you want out of a basketball team, right? Like, hey, we can beat anyone. We're playing that well. We can beat everyone. That's the confidence you want in the locker room, and that's the confidence they have in the locker room under Tom Thibodeau and the work ethic that he forces this team to play. At the same time, it's regular season ball, and it can only go so far. And at some point, I think it's reasonable to say it can go 6. It could probably go 6 games, but still, I mean that might make it seem like it's closer than what it really is. The Sixers are going to handle business. I'm very confident in that. Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, the Celtics stink. This would just be because of brand recognition more so than the actual play. The Celtics are bad. But if you talk about more ready to go players, yeah, I think Jason Tatum is a way better player than Julius Randle and a bigger star than Julius Randle is. So that fear level can be in Jason Tatum's eyes more so than Julius Randle's eyes. But on the other side, the Celtics stink. And I think you're just accustomed to seeing the Celtics play better, that I'm afraid of the Celtics. I don't want to see the Celtics. The Celtics stink. The Celtics are a bad basketball team. The Celtics are not good. Think about the big man situation. Who the fuck are they going to throw against Joel Embiid? They have nobody. Not a damn soul. Joel Embiid would drop 75 on their asses. I'm not afraid of the Celtics either. I'm not afraid of anybody outside of the top 3. You can say I don't want to play the Celtics, but I think that's literally just because you're accustomed to seeing the Celtics be good. They're not good. They're 3 games over 500 for a reason. If the Sixers were this deep into the season, sitting at 3 games over 500, you would have zero confidence in the world that they could do anything. Why? Because they're 3 games over 500 for a reason. It's just like last year. Oh, they're built for the playoffs. They're built for the playoffs. At some point, everybody stopped believing that they were built for the playoffs because when they got this deep in, they stunk and they were not very good. Exhibit A. It's happening to another team. It's happening to another team. Best case scenario is Miami beat both the Bucks and Nets and we face them. Well, the Miami Heat are 35 and 31. I don't think that's not going to happen though. I don't think that's going to happen. The Celtics have had a different lineup every game this regular season. I mean, they just never got together, man. They never got on the same exact page this year, which is it happens. It happens. We saw it last year with the Sixers. They had all the talent in the world on paper, but they could never put it together on the floor. It happens all the time throughout the NBA. There's always a team that underachieves, and you thought that they were going to be better, but they're not as good, and they kind of fall on their face. And for this season, it's the Boston Celtics. And ironically enough, a few years ago with Kyrie Irving, it was the Celtics. But Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, there's something to work with those guys for sure. Yeah, but isn't that what is good? I mean, this is everything they want. The NBA is a drama show. Sure. Guess what? People watch drama shows. People are obsessed with drama shows. People are engaged and emotionally checked in and they support drama shows. So, yeah, it is. But guess what? That's why it's so successful. That's why it's fantastic. That's why it's phenomenal, because it is just a bunch of drama. Yeah, Boston can't stop Joel. They can't even attempt to stop him. Now, if I remember correctly, Tristan Thompson, not that he can stop Joel Embiid, because he can't and he won't. And he could try, but he won't even be close. But That is probably their best option, one of their better options, and he wasn't available for, at least I know that last game. He'll still rock through anybody, though, even if it is a player like Tristan Thompson. What do I think about it? I mean, I think Milwaukee's a good team, and I'm not surprised at all. The Brooklyn Nets are still banged up. Bucks are a good team, and they're kind of making sure everybody remembers, hey, everyone talks about the Sixers and the Nets. We're still here, and they're kind of making that statement, and good for them for doing it because they deserve to. Regular season basketball is different, Zach. You're right. The Jazz beat the Sixers, but regular season, I don't know if their style of play is going to work in a slowed down basketball game. What they do is the exact opposite. The Jazz are going to try and push the pace and dictate the pace of play. It doesn't work once you start playing more legitimate teams like this fast-paced LA Fitness style. I just don't know if it can be replicated in playoff basketball. It might. It might. I could be wrong. I have my skepticism, though. I'm skeptical of it. I really am. I don't know how effective it could be. Bucks have put together a good regular season before. They aren't as motivated. I would disagree. I would say that I think they have taken less stock this year in regular season. If anything, I see it the other way around. They used to put so much emphasis on the regular season, and now it's like the year where they haven't, and they're more motivated. Or what are you saying, Todd? Maybe I'm reading this the wrong way. Bucks have put up good regular seasons before. They aren't as motivated. Are you saying they aren't as motivated to win regular season games? Because I would agree with you there. But this late stretch, I think they have picked up that intensity. But I don't think that would be a bad thing. I think they've put so much stock in it before that maybe it was the downfall of the team because when it came to the playoffs, maybe they weren't as ready. Maybe they were a little bit more fatigued. Maybe because they went all out to go win 60 games, that put a lot of fatigue on them. And now they're going with a different approach, and maybe it works out and benefits them. I don't know. But I do think this year it's been different. Okay, so we're on the same page then. I did read that wrong the first time originally. We are on the same page. They aren't going to kill themselves in the regular season, right? Because that hasn't worked. Now, Budenholzer is going to be on the hot seat for sure when you look at the rotations and how he plays Giannis. If you remember last year, they were taking Giannis out of the game and the amount of minutes that you were limiting your star to in the playoffs. It's like that's what you rest your stars for all season long, for the playoffs to push them heavier and to make them play way more in the playoffs. They were almost doing the opposite where they were overplaying them in the regular season, or not overplaying them, but forcing regular season games so much to go win. And then when the playoffs came, it's, we're taking Giannis out and we're going to the bench. It's like, what? And by the way, speaking of the bench, hey, Doc, we still going with the 11-man rotation? Huh? We still doing that nonsense, dude? I tried telling you all before. This bench concept is ridiculous. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing to hear from a head coach with that type of pedigree saying that he's going to go 11 men. Here's my theory, all right? I think he's doing that just to keep people motivated. He's too smart. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's too smart of a coach to think that he can go 11 men deep in a playoff game. Maybe he's doing that to keep the back end of the bench guys fighting. Knowing how important the 1 seed is, if he said we're only going 8, that means 9, 10, and 11 know right now that they're not going to play. So maybe they're not as engaged. They don't see it as a possibility to go make some noise. They don't look at it as a chance to earn some lineup time. So maybe that's them kind of, thinking and checking themselves out. We don't need to play hard. I mean, we're not going to play anyway. It's professional basketball. It shouldn't be the mindset. I'm wondering, is this Doc Rivers trying to keep certain players mentally clocked in? Or does he really think that? I mean, he does blow 3-1 series leads for a reason. His rotations have been whacked all year long. So maybe there is something to it. But really, dude, who would get minutes for me? Depending on the matchup. Because there's some matchups that I don't even have Dwight Howard in there. This stretch 5 concept might bone Dwight Howard. You might have to go Matisse Thybulle stretch 4 And then Ben Simmons, your 5 defending. It might not be the best ever solution, but it might be the best you have. It might not be the perfect solution, but it might be your best option, right? So depending on the matchup, I could see Dwight getting in there. But if Dwight doesn't and Ben Simmons is your backup 5, that allows Shake Milton maybe to play as well as a guard. But here's my thing. I'm going George Hill, I'm going Dwight Howard, and I'm going Matisse Thybulle. There's my 8. That's what you have. That's my rotation. Now, if Ben plays the 5 and Dwight Howard doesn't play that night, that allows you to throw Shake Milton into the mix. But that's who I would personally use in a game. That's my rotation. That's what I would do. It would be George Hill, Dwight Howard, Matisse Thybulle. And Shake Milton would be that guy that it's circumstances. If you need points more than you need defense, maybe no Matisse, and maybe it's Shake. But that's your 8 man. I'm going 8. I'm using 8. 8. 8. 8. Do you want to go win a championship? You use 8. All right? It's ridiculous. Brandon comes in with $5 and says, who is your Western Conference team in the NBA this season? I'm going with the Clippers to break their second-round curse. I'm also liking the Suns. I'm liking the Suns as well, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at the Western Conference top to see the I haven't really looked at the Western Conference in quite a bit of time. So the Suns and the Jazz are both tied at 47 and 18. It looks like the Suns have the tiebreaker. The Suns are 22 and 9 away from their home building. That's incredible. That really is spectacular. The Clippers are 44 and 22. The Nuggets are 43 and 22. I would have liked them more if obviously the injuries were not in play. The Lakers, with the whole LeBron stuff that happened with him and the injury. I like the Suns too. I think so of them all, I think the Clippers have the most prepared, savvy veterans. They have maybe not prepared, but they have the most savvy, playoff experienced veterans on there. And really, I'm basing that off of Kawhi, but that's winning a championship, and that's what happens. The Jazz don't have that. The Suns have Chris Paul, but he hasn't had the run that Kawhi Leonard was on. Denver is in a problem right now with injuries. So I'm going to go Clippers because I believe championship teams are won with superstar talent. Could it be the Suns? Like my secondary guess would be the Suns. I feel more confident in them than I do the Utah Jazz. But I'll go with the Los Angeles Clippers. But, they have some flaws, like there has been this weird dynamic between Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Thank you so much for the $5, bro. No. That's no one's starting over Ben Simmons. What are you talking about, bird bricks? No one's starting over. We're talking about the bench. Lakers first round exit. Well, if they don't have anybody available, possibly. So it's hard. You got a guy who hasn't played all season long, and now you're just throwing him into the fire. I mean, it sucks. I want to see LeBron in the finals. I'm a LeBron's man. I want to see him in the finals every single damn year. Yeah, that's crazy. In what world are we starting Shake Milton over Ben Simmons? I mean, that's just an asinine statement. Drummond, AD, LeBron, and Schroeder and KCP over the Clippers. Sure, if they're healthy. I mean, that's a big if, though. You haven't really had that all season long, and now they're just getting thrown into the last 10 games or so. And, with LeBron, you just have a really crazy situation going on with him and his injury. So you just don't know what you're getting health-wise. You're right. Healthy, I'm not even having this debate. If they're healthy, I mean, we're literally not even having this discussion. But they're not, right? I mean, like LeBron is the beast that brings you to the promised land, and he has not been available for the team this year. I like the Suns a lot too, but I do. I definitely want to see LeBron in the finals. That's for damn sure. Oh, yeah. If I could see LeBron in the finals every single year, it's not even a discussion. I want to see him every single year. Every year until LeBron retires. If I could see LeBron in the finals, sign me up. Sign me up. No, they're not. They're not underrated at all. They're perfectly rated. Why are they underrated? This is who they are this year. Are you basing it off of last year? I think last year they had a run based off of the product of what went down. You got a bubble. You got guys in a, you got guys in a weird spot mentally. I think the Miami Heat are perfectly where they are supposed to be. LeBron is not finished. Yeah, people have been saying LeBron is finished 4 years ago. Guy continues to strive. He's a little injured right now, and sure, I mean, when you get to this point of your career, injuries are more prone and things are more prone to happen, but LeBron is not finished. That's such a foolish statement, my friend. Such a foolish statement. I know. To think LeBron is finished is laughable. My man is never finished. He will never go down. He'll be 75 and he'll be taking the Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals, I swear to you. Sixers versus Lakers, and Embiid steps over LeBron. Could you imagine that moment? That's crazy. I don't know if I'm sorry, I got to answer this text message right now. Twitter would explode. Twitter would explode if what? If the whoa. You're talking about the step over. Yeah. The step over would be insane. What's my favorite coffee? I really don't have like a favorite one. I don't really have like a legit favorite one. I like them all, man. I really don't have like I'm not someone that has like I drink any coffee anytime, anywhere. For the most part, like I have ones that like I'm not like a huge dark roast guy, but if I had a dark roast coffee in front of me, I'm pounding the whole entire thing. What seed do I think the Sixers will end up with? The 1 seed. I think it's pretty inevitable at this point, to be honest with you, that that's going to happen. I think it's pretty inevitable that they're pretty much going to lock in that number 1 seed. It would be a disaster at this point. I mean, it would be a pretty epic fail if that ends up happening for sure. Hey, Brodes, what's your thoughts on Embiid staying healthy? I think that he's going to stay out. I mean, I have no concern. I'm not at the point where I watch Joel Embiid and I get all like squirmish and scared and upset when, things happen with him and he falls to the ground. Like, I'm over that. Maybe 3 years ago, there was a time where I was concerned, and there was a time where every time he did something on the floor, I would get nervous or I would cringe or I would get scared or I'd get upset. But that's not even a thing anymore, man. It's just not a thing anymore. I don't feel that way at all. We're going to talk about this tomorrow on the Open Ice Hits podcast, but for Tom Wilson to not be suspended is an embarrassment to the NHL, and I like what the Rangers did, quite honestly. I think it's a message that needs to be sent. You cannot allow for this to happen in the game. It's just unacceptable to allow what happened with Tom Wilson and Panarin to happen in the game. It's not 1975 anymore, all right? This is a new version of hockey, and what he did was a flat-out joke. So, I saw someone who didn't know hockey tweet out about what was going on, and he was like, I'm learning this situation. And what I'm hearing is basically Vontaze Burfict is at the head of NFL safety. That's the equivalent. Imagine Burfict being at the head of player safety in the NFL, and that's what's happening with the NHL right now and these poor decisions. It's just a joke. It's an absolute joke that he did not get suspended. Yeah, I like cold brew. I have nothing wrong with it. I drink hot though 99.9% of the time, but I don't mind a good change up and a good change of pace once in a while. Knicks are playing good basketball. They're playing hard, good basketball. I didn't come on. You really think anything I say that I don't feel worried about Joel Embiid? No matter what I do or what I say, it does not impact Joel Embiid. So if it happens, it happens, and it has nothing to do with what I say about it. But yeah, with the Knicks, they're playing tough basketball. Like they're playing tough, hard-nosed basketball, and they're going to work. They're going to win a first-round series, and then they're going to learn from what they're going to have to do. It's a situation where they're going to battle, they're going to win a series, they're going to lose to the Sixers, and they're going to take the next step, take the next stride. They're going to learn from it. They're going to put themselves in a position to build off of that for the next year. It's a learning moment for them. This is them going through the growing pains of what we saw out of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. The difference is They don't have those stars. That's the difference. They don't have the Ben and Joel to watch grow and to groom. Julius Randle, yes, but you'll never win because Julius Randle is your number one. You need way more than that. I said he's your tweener. He's your Tobias Harris. You're a tween between a 2 and a 3. So that's a piece to the puzzle that is important. You need more than that, though. And Julius Randle, I think he's got a cap. I like him, though, but he's got a cap. And that's not a knock on him. I think he's a very talented player that has proven a lot of people wrong. He's taken a significant jump in his career, but I think the Knicks probably win, to be honest with you. I think the Knicks are just I think they're a better brand of basketball this year. I think they're an all-around better brand of basketball this season. And they probably have the more confidence. The thing is, I think Jimmy Butler's the better player in general. I don't know if, to be honest with you, though, like, I'm looking up Jimmy Butler and his play so far this season because look, they're 35 and I mean, he's the best player on the floor all around, but Julius Randle can make the argument. I mean, what's Julius Randle technically averaging this season? Julius Randle's averaging 24 points. Jimmy Butler's averaging 21 points. I just haven't heard a lot of Jimmy Butler this year, quite frankly, you know? But in terms of like closing out a game and having that dog mentality, I would feel more confident in a Jimmy Butler than a Julius Randle. But all around, I think the Knicks are playing a better brand of basketball. $2 donation coming in from Sean Rodriguez. I helped Kutch with batting at my house. You're welcome. Sean Rodriguez, you dog. Thank you so much for all of your help. Sean Rodriguez. Ooh, we have a good giveaway for this week. Oh, do we have a good giveaway for this week? Oh, we do. Oh, we do. Oh, you are not going to want to miss this one. You are not going to want to miss this giveaway. Thank you so much for the $2, man. What is it? Like 7 games left or so? What are they? The Sixers have 7 games? I'll look it up. I think it's something along the lines of 7 games. They have Rockets, Pelicans, Pistons. 4 Pacers, 5 Heat, 6 Magic, 7 Magic. Yeah, they have 7 games left. Dude, that was a fucking bomb yesterday. I mean, wasn't it? That ball was crushed, man. That ball to right field was insane. That was a second decker, no-brainer, man. That thing was an absolute bomb. I mean, dude, I jumped out of my damn seat when I saw that thing. It was crazy. Good for Bamboo. Yeah, Bamboo's a good bench piece. I mean, he's your typical guy you can slide in there on afternoon games. He's your typical guy that can fill in a couple roles on the field. He's a very solid rotational utility piece. And you're seeing him. And also, not that I'm not one of those that put like insane value on it, but man, he is a culture guy. The amount of people that love Brad Miller and just the locker room guy, if you will, keeps it loose. Everyone loves him. He's just a player's guy, man. People love Brad Miller in the clubhouse. And, you know, it is important. It does have value. And, yeah, I mean, you see the videos of Bryce Harper mic'd up, talking to him the whole time during spring training. One of my buddies was at the game early in the season, and Brad Miller was, I guess, stretching with everybody in like a circle before the game. My buddy was there super early, and Brad Miller had everyone just dying laughing for like 5 minutes. There's something to be said about Bamboo Brad and the way that he has the team, you know, rallied around him, just being that locker room guy, if you will, that clubhouse guy. I always say locker room guy because I'm so accustomed to the hockey lifestyle, but yeah. Brodes, it's bad. Is it bad I watched the Flyers last night? Yeah, it is. It is. You know, I went through this yesterday. I was texting Durso about this. And I said, I haven't watched the Flyers since I think it was April 15th when they won 2-1 against the Penguins was it in overtime or in a shootout? It was in a shootout. I saw the box score the following game where they lost to the Capitals 6-3, and I never looked back because that was a Saturday game. I did not get a chance to watch that Saturday game. So when I saw 6-3, I realized there was never coming back, and I haven't watched a Flyers game since. They followed that up with a 1-0 overtime loss to the Islanders. Blah. They beat the Rangers, and they lost to the Rangers. Then they ended up losing 3 straight to the Devils after beating the Devils once in a shootout. Oh, man, it's bad. It's bad, man. I just haven't had any sort of fun watching anything hockey-related in so long. I'm, like, waiting for the playoffs to give me that rejuvenated boost, you know? Like, once I see the playoffs, I think I'm just going to just fly out of a cannon with my excitement for hockey. So I'm pretty super pumped up about that. And open ice hits, too, you know? Like, we're going to have a good hockey show maybe twice a week when the playoffs start. So it's going to definitely be a big difference. But, yeah, so thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us today, Coffee with Brodes. Just a little reminder on what we have on the table today, as we kind of always do to end the show. You are not going to want to miss this giveaway. Listen up. I guarantee you, you are not going to want to miss this giveaway. This might be the best giveaway we had at this point. It might tie another one, but you are not going to want to miss this giveaway. Head over to my Twitter at Brodes81. It will be tweeted out within minutes of this show ending. So what we have today, 7 o'clock Phillies. It seems like we're going to get that in, according to our very own, the man, the myth, the legend. Sixers, Rockets. Sixers, Rockets. So we're going to have some fun tonight, do some post-game shows and whatnot. It'll be interesting to see who are they going to play everyone? They're still going for that 1 seed. Yes, the Rockets absolutely stink. It's crazy. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. You are the best. See you guys tomorrow.